John Beadle, Director of Startup Weekend globally.
Yeah.
Welcome to Ireland and welcome to Irish Startup TV.
Thanks, happy to be here.
So tell us, how did you end up getting involved with Startup Weekend?
Yeah, so I always joke I got involved by accident, but in reality I actually used to be a civil engineer. And in school they always talk about how engineering is a lot of problem solving and being able to take information and use it to come up with the best solution. And when I came into the real world, in the States at least, a lot of the engineering was just by a manual and by book. And so I was a little upset and wanted to find ways that I could use kind of the creative or problem-solving approach to my job. And entrepreneurship, I found, filled that void. So I was really excited. I had no idea what Startup Weekend was. I attended an event just by happenstance. I had a friend that was giving away a ticket. I said I'd grab it. Went to the event. I had no idea I was getting into like these attendees here today. It was a whirlwind of a weekend. Had a lot of high energy, learned a lot, gained some mentors, and through that process, started talking with the organizers and getting involved in the community for my own mentorship. So just being able to talk to people who are going through similar situations, understanding what they're going through, and trying to use their experience to figure my own way through the path of entrepreneurship.
So what an incredible opportunity, and I think it really highlights the power of a Startup Weekend, and I'm going to come back to that in a second, but just to quickly explain what happens in a Startup Weekend. 52 hours, a bunch of clever people.
Yeah, so Friday night they came in not really knowing what to expect. We do a few things just to kind of warm people up to each other, make sure they feel comfortable kind of making mistakes, talking to each other, not just a cold room. Then they pitch an idea, so if they have anything that they want to work on over the weekend, they have 60 seconds to pitch in front of the entire group. The group then votes on their favorite ideas, and those top selected ideas are worked on over the weekend. So we have a group of, I think, 9 teams here, and since Friday night, they've had mentors come in to help them through the process. They've had resources, but ultimately they're on their own. So if they want to leave the building and explore and talk to customers, they're building a startup. So we're giving them the tools to do it in a really quick time, but they're on their own just trying to figure out their way and making sure that they have everything they need over the weekend.
So now looping back to that question of the outcomes, your outcome, it sounded like, was very much what my impression of an outcome from attending a bunch of Startup Weekends is. It's a wonderful opportunity to meet new friends and to build out a new education, a new tool set, a new toolbox.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're looking for a new network or if you're looking for a new skill set, I mean, we have a lot of people here that are coming just to change careers as well. So even if you're not necessarily looking for a startup, if you want to go into design or development, this is a really good way to build up that portfolio because you have a clear start and a clear end time frame, and you can build that project within the weekend and set it up. And it's also trying it out, so you don't necessarily have to continue with it, but if you want to see what it would be like to work in that environment, it's a great way to kind of step in those shoes and see if it fits for you.
So you're a great exemplar of somebody who's come along to attend a Startup Weekend. And in fact, I had a similar experience
completely
myself
by
years
accident,
ago.
yeah.
And then we find ourselves in the startup environment many years later. We're also seeing some amazing products coming out of these weekends. Any standouts that you'd like to share?
So I tend to be a little jaded when it comes to picking the ideas. I think a lot of it comes down to the work that's done over the weekend. Meaning that if an idea can be okay, but if the team shows commitment and motivation and they're listening to the feedback of the mentors, they're analyzing the input that they're getting, and then they're taking that information to create a plan and move forward. To me, that's really exciting to see how the team progresses. So regardless of where they end up on Sunday, if they've made progress from where they started, so if they're not all going to start in the same spot, but if they made progress from Friday, that kind of shows me that the team's committed.
And in terms of that team piece, we spoke earlier about the opportunity to be able to learn to do stuff in a pressurized environment where invariably personalities will come out, and the opportunity then to be able to deal with those situations and to have the difficult conversations plays very much into every future success.
Yeah, I think that's a great way too for hiring as well. So I mean, other companies I've always talked to, I encourage them to go to a Startup Weekend, not necessarily for the startup, but if they're looking for employees or they have open positions, it's a really good stress test to see, does this person fit my work culture? Is this person a good person to have in my team? So even if you aren't going on the startup side, there's a lot of job opportunities that bubble up just for being here and being around all the high energy in the network.
Yeah, it's an incredible thing to get to become part of. Fantastic, John. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks so much
Thanks.
for chatting with us
Appreciate
today.
it.
Thank you.